This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Scott Dennis will be in later today. We do have an update regarding Hurricane Irma from the 11 o'clock model. Right. How's that looking?
It's following very closely the European model, which has been verifying very well, in which the Hurricane Center is placing favor on with this particular track. It has shifted a little bit further to the west once again. So we've had three consecutive slight shifts to the west. The latest model has prompted a continuation of our hurricane watch for the area, as well as a storm surge watch from Venice southward. That will likely be changed to a warning either later today or tomorrow as we get closer to go time with this storm. Taking a look at the watches and warnings right now, to the south of us, hurricane warnings in effect and a hurricane watch in effect for our area. Storm surge still not considered a large problem, though a surge watch is in effect from about Venice southward, mostly for areas around Charlotte Harbor, which is where they could see some more flooding, particularly where the Peace River and the Myakka River, a little bit upstream, empty out into Charlotte Harbor. 150-mile-an-hour winds. It has decreased in speed over the course of the morning hours, early morning hours, and now the 11 o'clock advisory. West-northwest motion still continues at about 14 miles per hour. We are waiting for that northerly turn, which will take place tomorrow. We'll be watching with great interest exactly where that occurs. Saturday between about 8 a.m. and 8 in the evening, we expect to see that shift take place. The further west that shift takes place and the motion to the north begins, of course, the worst, of course, for the west coast of Florida. Forecast model right now takes it up the coastline, up the interior spine, but nudges it a little bit further to the west, increasing the likelihood of hurricane force winds in our area. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in just a few.
All right, thank you, John. We will check back in with you shortly. Happening right now, both the Sarasota and Manatee County Emergency Operations Centers are holding news conferences on preparations for Hurricane Irma. Let's take you live now to Sarasota County, where we find Jess Dowdrick.
Continue to coordinate closely with our regional partners, the counties adjacent to us, and the state of Florida. We have plans in place and we are prepared to respond to threats like Hurricane Irma, and we believe that we have fully mobilized and are taking the actions necessary to keep our communities safe. We are in the third day of our, what I would call, interagency coordination meetings. We just completed one for today, so we have the opportunity to have our partners here with us. Our emergency management director will step up in a minute and he'll share the latest information and actions of the county and the EOC. And we also have the individual agencies that are here as well that can answer any questions that you might have. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Ed McCrane.
Thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon once again, and thank you for being here and for getting this information out to the citizens of Sarasota County and the surrounding areas. Like Tom said, we continue to coordinate with our partners, and from the beginning we've been monitoring this storm very closely with a shifting track. We told you several days ago that we would have to take action based on a worst case or a best case scenario. The best case scenario would have been that eastern track, but everybody saw it shift a little bit. We don't know exactly where that storm is going to go, but because of the current conditions and what we're given by the National Hurricane Center and the Weather Service, we have to take the following actions. This morning at 8 a.m. we issued a voluntary evacuation order of all barrier islands, low-lying areas, Zone A, mobile homes, RVs. And the purpose of the voluntary evacuation order is to give people the opportunity to prepare and to evacuate if that is their intention, knowing that we might possibly have to go into a mandatory later today. So with this briefing, we're going to announce that we are going to order a mandatory evacuation of those same areas, barrier islands, Zone Alpha, Zone A, mobile homes, RVs, low-lying areas that could be inundated by storm surge, and that is the main threat that we're concerned about. Also with the mobile homes, the possibility of hurricane force or heavy tropical storm force winds. That will begin at 2 o'clock today. That does not mean that people need to leave immediately. It means the evacuation begins at 2 p.m. and the mandatory portion of it, and it will last till 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. That will give people plenty of time to evacuate, and it'll give us time to secure facilities on the islands and on the mainland side of where those threats could be. The purpose of the mandatory evacuation is because conditions will be so rough if the storm comes here that public safety officials will not be able to respond to 911 calls on those islands. People need to realize that when the winds reach to 45 miles an hour sustained, our emergency vehicles do not respond. We prioritize the 911 calls, and we respond in a priority to those calls as soon as conditions are allowable. After consulting with the Hurricane Center, we made this decision. Last night, we were tasked by the state of Florida to open one shelter to serve as a host shelter for county evacuees from southern Florida. We only had one occupant in that shelter last night. However, today, it's starting to fill up. That shelter will also be utilized for evacuees from Sarasota County. In addition to that one shelter, which is Brookside Middle, we're planning to open 3 more today that will be run with a combination of Red Cross and county staff. That is Booker High School, Woodland Middle School, and Atwater Elementary. We also expect to add additional shelters later today. The state has asked us to open an additional 4. These shelters will be run by the National Guard, working in conjunction with a school district and a county staff liaison to assist them, along with law enforcement from either city or county law enforcement agencies, to provide that support to those shelters. The latest information on shelters can be found on www.scgov.net and the county's social media pages. If you'll notice, the look of the scgov.net page was modified by our communications team to reflect information about Hurricane Irma, with some easy to locate buttons on the front to find your zone. So if people don't know if they're in Zone A, they can click there and put in their address to find the shelter list, emergency information, emergency numbers, and things like that. So that's a great tool. When you click on shelters, you will see the shelters that are open listed there, the addresses, and any other information pertaining to them. Our contact center, 861-5000, is experiencing a large call volume, so stay in the queue. If you call, stay in the queue, because if you hang up and redial, you will be placed at the end of that queue, and you'll be waiting even longer. We've added an additional 7 operators working with our communication telecom staff, so that should reduce some of it. If you have questions about shelter locations and things like that, it would be better to look on the website with your smartphone or utilizing a computer. Questions related to municipalities, the City of Venice, please contact their city halls or any numbers that the city managers can provide to you for the specific questions about the cities. In addition to the closures, we have Sarasota County beaches will close at 2 p.m. tomorrow during that mandatory evacuation. Correction, 2 p.m. today. We'll begin closing Sarasota County beaches. There will not be lifeguard stationed during this evacuation period. We ask people to not go to the beach and to stay out of the water, especially during that period of time. County libraries and park facilities will be closed on Saturday and Sunday. SCAT bus service will be suspended at 6 p.m. Saturday. No service on Sunday. All fares will be suspended on Saturday so that people can get rides to the transfer stations. If they wish a ride to a shelter, there'll be a school bus there to take them. Solid waste collection schedule for Saturday has been canceled for residents in unincorporated Sarasota. The Central County landfill will remain open till 5 p.m. today, but will be closed on Saturday. For more information about school closures, I'll turn it over to Superintendent Todd Bowden. It's football season.
That's right. We made the decision on Wednesday to close school today. So obviously schools are closed today, Friday. We received notification last night shortly after 9 o'clock that the governor had taken action to close all schools across the state on Friday and Monday. So we will continue to work with emergency management staff to coordinate the reopening of school. But at this point in time, we're a shelter operator, and that's our #1 priority.
At this point, we'll open up for questions. Cassie?
Cassie Alexander from the Sarasota Observer. This is probably for Ms. McCrae. In terms of storm surge, what are you expecting on the barrier islands? And are you expecting to turn off the water to the islands and to the beachfront areas?
Good question. The water is a decision by the utility directors to safeguard that infrastructure. They will not do that until the mandatory evacuation period has ended and they have a good indication that it's clear, and then they will do that. And that is to save that water if the pipes are destroyed. As far as your question on storm surge, it depends. It depends on the track, of course. If we get a westerly track into the Gulf of Mexico, we could see upwards of 15 feet of storm surge, which goes up in the river, up the bayous, and can cause some problems. If we get a storm up the center of the state or on the East Coast, we could see 1 to 6 feet of surge. We're not sure what we're going to get, so we have to choose the worst case scenario. And that storm surge, if it's a westerly track, will be as the storm approaches and prior to the storm's approach. The east side track surge would not come until Monday when the storm is beyond us, probably around Daytona Beach. I also wanted to mention, I failed to mention about the PSN, the people with special needs shelters. Those people who are registered with special needs are being called today. We did a code red call the other day. Today they're doing live calls with operators, finding out if they need assistance and getting them the support they're going to need. We're going to pick them up tomorrow or advise them where to go. We typically do not announce the locations of our special needs shelters. We would like the public to not go to these shelters. These are specifically for people with special medical needs. If the public shows up at a special needs shelter, they will be directed to the nearest open general population shelter unless the storm is at its peak or the storm conditions are bad enough, we'll allow them inside. But please allow the special needs shelters to be utilized by those people who need it the most.
Jen?
Jennifer Vagos, SNN. What's the policy with guns allowed in shelters?
Sure.
Guns and shelters.
All right, as you heard, that was the emergency operations briefing with Sarasota County. We're going to go over some of those 3 main facts with you guys. Mandatory evacuations are underway for the Zone A mobile homes, barrier islands here in Sarasota County. So keep that in mind. Mandatory evacuations for Zone A, barrier islands, and mobile homes. That starts at 2 p.m. today and goes until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Also, 3 more shelters will be opening up. Those are Booker High, Woodland Middle School, Atwater Elementary, as well as Booker Middle School that is currently open. Those will open later on today, and 4 more will also be opening. And beaches for Sarasota County will be closing at 2 p.m. today. We will have more from Manatee County. You can watch the rest of the you can watch the rest of the Sarasota County debriefing on our Facebook. Meanwhile, as people decide to evacuate, gas supply is still a big problem across the state. Governor Rick Scott is telling Floridians to download the Gas Buddy app to find which gas stations still have gas. Make sure you fill up your tank before you leave and anticipate traffic. Allow a lot more time than normal to reach your destination as well. And once you do reach a quarter tank full, you should start looking for gas stations to fill up. If you run out of gas or become stranded on the road, you can call Star FHP for assistance. And you should be aware, as you are doing any last-minute storm preparation shopping today, many stores in the area are closing up early so that their employees can stay safe. All Walgreens across the state will close today at 4 p.m. and will remain closed until Monday at 10 a.m. Walmart will also be closing tonight at 10 in Sarasota and Manatee County. If you're looking to pick up some emergency cash, be aware that Bank of America in Sarasota and Manatee County will also be closing at 2 p.m. today and will be closed all day Saturday. And speaking of cash, ABC 7's business commentator Jeff Stern joins us with a check on Wall Street. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jacqueline. As we know, Tuesday was not a good day for the market, so as of now, the week is negative, about 0.8% for the Dow and the NASDAQ. S&P's down about 0.5% for the week. Lots of stuff going on, and the markets do not like the hurricanes, just like we don't. 10-year Treasuries, 2.03%, and as you can imagine, oil is on the rise. Actually, orange futures are definitely on the rise as well. Woke up this morning and the futures were down, so let's see how we're currently trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is positive by 41 points, 21,825, up 0.25%, while NASDAQ 6,385, that is negative 12 points, down almost 0.25%. S&P 2,465, up 0.46, 0.02% in the positive. And Equifax came out with some not so good news. They have been hacked. Yes, they have 143 million people have been hacked. Social security numbers, addresses, as well as driver's license information and birthdays. They will be offering free identity theft protection monitoring service, although they will not be clearing up your credit. And if you do offer this service, unfortunately, you're giving up the right to sue them later on. All of this shows the pros and the cons of handling or having all of this information stored. Not too good. And unfortunately, I should say, 3 executives sold about $2 million worth of shares after the breach was discovered, but before it went public. I'm sure those guys are going to get in trouble. Equifax is not positive today. It's down about 14% trading. We'll see what happens, Jacqueline.
All right, thank you so much, Jeff. Still to come on your Suncoast News, food safety tips for areas affected by Hurricane Irma, what you can do to prepare in advance, and what you need to know if the power goes out. In Dante's Den's, Marsha Panucci will be in later to discuss those important safety tips to prepare your pets and how to keep them calm during the storm.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is brought to you by Sunset Cadillac.
40 Carats Family Center and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County present the 15th annual free speaker event, The Whole Brain Child, featuring world-renowned neuropsychiatrist and author Dr. Dan Siegel at Riverview High School Auditorium Tuesday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. Learn strategies to nurture children's minds at all ages, survive everyday parenting struggles, and help your family thrive. RSVP required at 40carats.org. That's FORTYcarats.org.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing, but sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that, and with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert weather app now. Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Well, you just heard Ed McCrane express the concern of a storm that continues to move west. The track has shifted west over the last couple of model runs, and the Hurricane Center is now favoring has been favoring the European model, which continues to show that storm moving to the west, and perhaps the eye of the storm even moving over parts of the Sun Coast. Talk about that in a second. 90-degree air temperature, dew point 79, very hot and humid. A lot of people finishing up last-minute preparations outside today. We have a good flow of air coming in out of the northeast aloft, taking lots of showers and thunderstorms moving in this direction. There will be lightning strikes around this afternoon, and there could be some periods of some heavier rainfall today. So watch for that as these storms move across the region. Be safe. Taking a look at the European model forecast, which is the one that the Hurricane Center has said they favor now. And remember, this is not written in stone, but it seems to be the best performing model currently. The European takes it right up through the Florida Keys as a strong hurricane, moving into areas around Bonita Springs and then lifting it northward right through the spine of the state. If this were exactly correct, and it will not be, but if it were, the eye of the storm itself is perhaps a Category 2 storm, perhaps a high-end 2 storm, could move through areas of very extreme inland Hardee and DeSoto counties and then continue lifting northward. If that were to occur, we could see certainly some hurricane force winds around here. That certainly wouldn't be out of the question, and even some stronger hurricane force winds. Worst case scenario, of course, would be if that storm lifted off the west coast, and we'll talk about worst case scenarios because we need to. 150-mile-per-hour winds, Category 4 storm. It has decreased a little bit in intensity, but fluctuations in intensity are expected with this storm system. It's so large, the eye wall is engaged in replacement cycles, and that can cause fluctuations in intensity. It continues to move on a forecast track that could take it very near Cuba, and the mountains of Cuba could, in fact, disrupt some of the flow and perhaps weaken it just a little bit. But it'll be moving over very warm waters south of Florida, so there's no reason to expect it not to be a major hurricane as it moves onshore. Best case line, the best track line shows it moving onshore, very similar, if not identically, to what the European model is now showing, and then lifting northward rapidly, falling apart, basically, and as it lifts north of us, becoming a Category 1 storm, perhaps being a 2 or a 3 as it moves across the center part of the state of Florida at a latitude kind of parallel to us. The timing for this would be Sunday into Monday. This could end up being a nighttime storm. One of the things we really don't love in meteorology. Nighttime storms can sometimes be the most frightening, but that is the potential here. Taking a look at the weather highlights, obviously high pressure directing our storm, a trough of low pressure to the north in the process of falling apart. The highlights are, number 1, know your evacuation zone. Number 2, we have better thunderstorm chances today, so if you're putting up your shutters, realize that there is a good chance of lightning strikes during the afternoon, and then all of your preps should be complete by Saturday evening. Very strong eye wall with very large expanse of tropical storm and hurricane force winds, the wind field lifting north and enveloping the entire Sun Coast with certainly tropical storm force winds, no doubt about that. Taking a look at the probabilities of tropical storm force winds, they are very high for this area. Even hurricane force probabilities have gone up, and right now we are looking at the potential for about a 40 to 50% probability of hurricane force winds across the region. So prepare for the worst, expect the best. That's what I've been saying all morning long. Weather starts to deteriorate Saturday night into Sunday. Strongest winds come Sunday evening, most likely, into Monday morning, and then the weather improves. We'll be watching carefully Sunday night for the eventual northward motion of the storm. That will in large part determine what our weather might look like. That comes Saturday evening. But even tonight, we'll have a better idea of what the model consensus is. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, John. Time now to head over to the kitchen and check in with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
Thanks, Jacqueline. To get everybody prepared for the storm, it's now time to think about what you can do that you don't have to cook if we lose the power and if you're going to a shelter. There's lots of different things that you can get ready now. I was over at the Fresh Market this morning, and I'm pleased to say the store was completely stocked, and they did have plenty of water that they think will last through the day. They had an extra pallet. But while we're talking about things like this, don't forget coconut water. If we lose the power, it's going to be really hot, and coconut water is a much better way to hydrate. So consider that, and think out of the, if you have things like diabetes, you can't have sugar for certain diseases, get your stevia packed now. If you go to a shelter, they are kind enough to have food there, but it may not be food that matches what you can eat. We're going to go to break. I'm going to come back and give you some more tips that I found to keep you stocked up without having to cook.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
If you're thinking about replacing your windows, what matters most to you? We found what matters is high performance. Our customers want energy-efficient windows built for Florida weather. Windows that can stand everything from scorching sun to hurricanes. Our customers want windows that reflect their life, their lifestyle. Windows that will last a lifetime. We listen to our customers, and as a result, we're growing. So if you're looking to replace your windows, stop here at New South Window.
Buy more, save more. Volume discounts on 4 or more windows.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Welcome back. Manatee County just had a debrief on Hurricane Irma. ABC 7's Adam Cellini was there and joins us now with what was discussed. Good afternoon, Adam.
Hey, thanks, Jacqueline. I'm at the Emergency Operations Center here in Manatee County. A press briefing just wrapped up. Emergency staff telling us they are now issuing a mandatory evacuation of all residents living in flood zone A. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions about how to find which flood zone you're in. The county has put it right on the homepage of their website, mymanatee.org. So if you're unsure of which flood zone you're in, go to mymanatee.org. It is right there on the homepage. Flood zone A is those low-lying areas, more than likely coastal areas that could flood easy. Now, they said what went into this decision was the track of that hurricane shifting west earlier today, which we have been well documenting throughout the morning. They said that storm shifting west and then not sure when it's going to come north. They felt this was the time to get people out of those low-lying areas. They also say the storm surge, calculating that for the county has been an issue because storm surge does not take into account the rainfall leading up to that. We've had a lot of rainfall over the last weeks. They say it's not going to take much for flooding to start again in Manatee County at this point. So storm surge is certainly a concern right now. They are opening shelters today, some at 2 o'clock, some at 4 o'clock. We'll have more details on that later. They're supposed to be giving us the exact names of which shelters will be open, and they are saying that these are last resorts. So first, call friends, friends, call family, see if you can stay somewhere. Shelters are an absolute last resort for people with no other options. So certainly spend this time today figuring out where you're going to go if you have any options nearby. You don't have to go far, just somewhere in higher ground. That is our update right now. We will keep you posted throughout the morning and the afternoon as more updates come in. For now, live in Manatee County, I'm Adam Cellini. Jacqueline, back to you.
All right, thank you, Adam. That information puts both Manatee and Sarasota counties in a mandatory evacuation for flood zone A's. Time now to check in with John, who's with the founder of Dante's Den and host of Animal Outtakes, Marsha Panucci. Marsha is here to talk to us about how to prepare your pet for the upcoming storm and what you can do during the storm.
Yeah, Marsha, good to see you here today.
Oh, yes.
So I think the first thing we need to talk about are the evacuation orders that were issued today. If people are taking their pets to an evacuation shelter, what are they going to need to have with them?
Well, I have been walking around with our hurricane guide here from ABC7, and of course you need a leash and some identification on the collar. If your dog or cat have a microchip, all the much better, because there will be scanning that can be done, of course. Vaccination records, they're going to want to know.
That's critical.
That is very critical. The rabies, the leptospirosis, the DA2 HPP, all of those need to be brought up to date. But most of all, if your dogs are going to be very much stressed,
yes.
And I have some that are going to be stressed, and I know you do, John.
Yes, absolutely.
Give a call to your veterinarian now before they close that office, and try to get some very, very safe meds. It can be herbal, it can be the chemical, but whatever you do, try to keep your pets as quiet as they possibly can.
That's important.
And one more thing. Always bring your cell phone. Why? Because you're going to want to take a selfie of you and your dog, just in case you get separated or something happens and the collar is not where it should be. That phone will save you and save your dog.
And in some shelters, they will actually take a picture for you and put that picture on the kennel. And if your picture doesn't match the picture on the kennel, they won't allow you access to the
You're not
dog.
going to get that dog or
That's
that cat. And you know, we have to talk about keeping yourself as less stressful as you possibly can, because as you know, John, they feed off of us. So if they feel our anxiety, then they're going to start feeding off of it, and we absolutely want to keep them as quiet as we possibly can. Of course, bring food when you go to the shelters, because the shelters do not have food, and water. You certainly want as much filtered water as you can possibly get your hands on.
Good tips, Marsha. Thank you so very much for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jacqueline?
All right, thanks, guys. Some Suncoast homeowners may also have to make another major preparation for their storm, your pool. In order to cut down on damage and your time cleaning up after the storm, here are a few tips from the Florida Swimming Pool Association. Do not drain your pool. You may think this will help with possible flooding, but the water in your pool will actually help prevent cracking, lifting, and damage. You also do not need to lower the water level in your pool, and it's recommended that you superchlorinate or shock your pool before the storm. And also turn off the pool's electrical equipment at the circuit breaker beforehand. And lastly, bring inside all of your outside furniture. Those items can become missiles in strong winds. And hurricanes present the possibility of power outages and flooding that can compromise the safety of stored food. Some steps you can follow before the storm include keeping appliance thermometers in both the refrigerator and the freezer to ensure temperatures remain food safe during a possible outage. Also, freeze water before the storm to help keep food cool. Have coolers on hand and group food together to help keep them cool. If your power does go out, try to keep refrigerator and freezer doors closed. Also, put meat to one side of the freezer to reduce cross-contamination. And again, use those coolers and ice bags. And speaking of food, let's check in with Judy Gallagher.
Those are all excellent tips and what we've been talking about. You can also look online at mysuncoast.com/dining. Wednesday, I did a big section on how to pack your coolers and get your freezer and refrigerator organized for one clean sweep. If the power goes out, then leave it shut. Apples and oranges are going to be a great snack, fresh fruit, and they're going to hold up for days, if not a week or so. Great snack. cheese sticks, ready to go, great source of protein and snacks, and of course yogurt. Those are all easy to pack. Now, I just found some great snack packs that have protein in them over at the Fresh Market. You can find a lot of things like this over at Whole Foods as well. Really good ideas as tuna fish or chicken salad, grapes and cheese. Make your own little packs of trail mix that can be a little bit healthier. So I have some organic sunflower seeds, organic raisins, cashews. You put some cheese in there if you want, nuts and raisins, and unsweetened coconut. When I come back, I'll show you a few more tips to get breakfast ready to go for the next few days, and we'll hunker in. We're all here together in it.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
It's Lincoln Summer Sales Event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month, or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
This is important news for women who were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and then suffered permanent hair loss. The chemotherapy drug Taxotere has been linked to permanent alopecia or permanent hair loss. Some women administered the breast cancer chemotherapy drug Taxotere have suffered from permanent hair loss on scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes. The FDA has urged doctors and the manufacturer to warn women administered Taxotere of the risk of permanent hair loss. If you or a loved one were administered chemotherapy intravenously for breast cancer and suffered permanent hair loss, you may have a right to a cash award and medical expenses. If you suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy for breast cancer, call the law offices of Davis & Crump at the number below right now to find out if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get Debt-Free Now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251. 800-628-1251.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Scenes of destruction continue to come in from the Caribbean as officials continue to monitor Hurricane Irma. ABC's Molly Hunter is in New Smyrna Beach today with how people are getting prepared for the worst.
Hurricane Irma churned through the northern Caribbean overnight, devastating small islands. It's the strongest recorded storm to hit the Atlantic.
It was the worst time in all my life. And I would not want to see another hurricane like this again.
I didn't expect nothing like this. This is the worst. Irma stayed largely offshore in Puerto Rico, but St. Martin, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the tiny island of Barbuda taking direct hits.
The entire country has been decimated.
Irma, with winds at more than 150 miles per hour, now taking aim for the Bahamas and Cuba, and tomorrow, South Florida.
And here on the coast of Florida, you can see people are boarding up their houses. Many of these houses actually empty. People are heeding the call to get out of town.
More than 1 million people ordered to evacuate, desperate to stock up on gas and food.
I'm very scared, so I'm just trying to get as far north as possible.
Traffic backed up and shelves already wiped clean of bottled water.
This storm is wider than our entire state and is expected to cause major and life-threatening impacts from coast to coast.
The Florida governor warning everyone who can to get out now, remembering the last monster storm here 25 years ago.
Remember, Hurricane Andrew is one of the worst storms in the history of Florida. Irma is more devastating on its current path.
The governor emphasizing they will not come rescue you in the middle of the storm. Emergency crews stop going out onto the streets when winds hit about 40 miles an hour, and we're expecting wind speeds at 3 times that. Molly Hunter, ABC News, New Smyrna Beach.
Well, with that new track shifting a bit more west, we can see local officials obviously prompting some mandatory evacuations here on the Suncoast. What can we feel? What are things going to be like?
Oh, well, you know what? That's a good idea. They have to plan for worst case scenario. And with a westward shift in that track, storm surge now becomes a greater problem. Okay. The winds will be a little bit stronger, and we have to think about perhaps a 4 to 6 foot storm surge in some locations. Wow. That's a potential problem that they have to now evacuate for. Not saying that that's what we will get, but that's a possibility. We'll know more as we start to see when that northward shift in the forecast track takes place, but certainly there is the possibility that we could see a Category 4 hurricane making landfall in the southern tip of the state as we head into especially Sunday and then Sunday morning. And then we'll start to see the line of the track move nudge just a little bit closer to us, such that our probability of hurricane force winds has increased. Now, they should be offshore winds for us, which is a good thing, but there is still a storm surge warning for areas, a storm surge watch rather, for areas of Venice southward, and particularly the areas where the Peace River and the Myakka River feed into areas of Charlotte Harbor. That's where we could see some higher water totals. The Hurricane Center's now inundation above ground shows as much as 3 feet above ground, which, you know, would put it up to your knees around the areas of those banks of the Peace River and the Myakka River, close to and just upstream of Charlotte Harbor. Rainfall an issue today. A lot of people are still going to be putting up their shutters rather, as they do that. Just remember, the skies will be darkening from the east, and they will see showers and thunderstorms moving in, probably with frequent lightning strikes as we head into the second half of the afternoon. So today's planner calls for about a 60% chance of thunderstorm activity. That's almost double what it was yesterday. Daytime highs already have cracked the 90 mark, and it's sweltering heat out there. So take care of yourselves and take it easy. We have a complete update on what to expect in terms of wind, in terms of rainfall, in terms of storm surge coming up in just a few. Jacqueline?
All right. Thank you, John. Let's check back in with Chef Judy Gallagher over in the kitchen.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Now, thinking ahead, whether you're going to a hotel that maybe has a kitchenette, a microwave, a toaster, today you can start making French toast. It's a great, easy thing to get done. If you use something like a carton of almond milk instead of regular whole milk that needs to be chilled, you're going to be better off. So what I did was I made little packs set in packs of 2. Now I have enough packs that I can give to my friends who either have elderly parents, that's a nice comforting food, or my little grandnephews that love them. Instead of the bottle of syrup, what you can also do is spread some jam on them and fold it like a sandwich. Now, making quesadillas the day before you're afraid that you might lose electricity is going to be fantastic, because once they're done, if you have to, they can sit out. They're packed with protein if you use the right cheese, and you can spread some black beans on that, so that's great. Also, some already made quinoa meals, plenty of things that you can do, and we'll be back in a few moments, and we're with you the whole weekend through this. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
What to do when your heating or air conditioning needs service or, heaven forbid, replacement? Call Air Now today. We've been serving Sarasota and Manatee County since 1946. We offer $49.95 tune-ups, lease or finance options, and remember, service today or it's free.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care And today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So with the westward shift in track of our storm, 3 to 5 foot of storm surge is a pretty safe number to use right now along the coastline from about Venice southward. As far as rain showers go, expect to see them around today. Those showers could create problems as we head into the afternoon for people who are still continuing on with their storm preps. Could be frequent lightning strikes. We're already starting to see a few thunderstorms build, so just be careful out there. Irma's forecast track shifted a little bit further toward the west today. Category 4 storm, still 150-mile-an-hour winds. As I mentioned, we'll be waiting very intently, actually, on Saturday for that shift to the north of the storm track. If it shifts further to the west, that means more likely a coastal storm, which is a worst-case scenario for us. That could bring, and it still is in the forecast possibility, wind speeds up to a Category 2 or 3 storm to a great portion of the Suncoast. Not out of the question. If, however, it makes the turn as the European model suggests and the Hurricane Center's best track line suggests, we'll probably see tropical storm force winds with some possible low-end hurricane force winds. And, of course, if it somehow curved back over toward the East Coast, that would be a best case scenario. Occurring, generally speaking, Sunday through about midday on Monday would be our best chance of seeing these stronger winds. And then we'll see probably a reduction in the winds as we head into Monday afternoon, certainly by Tuesday. So by Saturday evening, I would say, you should have all of your preparations concluded and your house buttoned up. These are the tropical storm force wind forecasts. I showed you the hurricane force wind forecasts in the last half hour and told you that the chances for those hurricane force winds have gone up now to about 50%. But tropical storm force winds, well, we're at about a 80 to 90% level for expecting tropical storm force winds, and in inland areas, even higher than that, almost 100% chance of seeing tropical storm force, high end, by the way, tropical storm force wind to near hurricane force in inland areas of Hardee and DeSoto counties. So the rainfall forecast, of course, has also gone up, and that is a problem for our river flooding at this point. As that track curves further to the west, the chances for heavier inundating rains goes up, and right now we're probably in the 4 to 6 inch range possibility of some of the heavier rains. And of course, along with that comes the threat of tornadoes, and we're now in a marginal risk according to the Severe Storm Prediction Center for the potential of maybe some isolated tornadoes with some of these storms that move through here. A very serious situation. So you heard about storm surge issues along the coast. You've heard about you've just heard in the news about the mandatory evacuations in Sarasota County for level A. Well, they are using this worst case scenario because they have to in order to make their decisions. This is a what's called a P-surge map, and it shows inundation levels across the coastline. If you had a strong Category 3 storm lifting right up the coast, then you could have those 16-foot storm surges that he was talking about. We're not there yet. It's a little early, actually, to be talking specifics about storm surge, but at the present time, 3 to 5 is a good value to talk about. Have to really wait and see until we narrow down exactly where that track is and how strong the winds will be before we can zero in on that. So give it another day. We'll look for a northeast wind at about 15 knots, building seas, 2 to 4 foot seas, and a moderate chop on bay and inland waters. We have an 8:55 low tide this morning, but a high tide coming your way at 2:34. You should have finished all of your boat preparations, obviously. And the 7-day forecast calls for increasing chances of those strong storms. If you are told to evacuate, please do. Know your evacuation zone and stay tuned from the emergency management for orders should further evacuations be required. If you're told to evacuate, do it. Sunday into Monday is our 2 storm days where we'll probably see the strongest winds, and that could occur during the dark hours. We'll be right back.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
Also, don't forget, you can log on to mysuncoast.com/dining. You'll have our videos from Wednesday and today for snack ideas. Stock up on the protein bars, the Luna bars, the individual packets of almond butter. Pick up a couple pre-made pizzas. This is something that can go in your oven on Saturday night or Sunday for lunch. So you already have it done, and that can be a meal. Pack your produce, and remember, organic applesauce, and go inventory your own refrigerator. I have pieces of cheese. All great ideas that will hold up in a cooler really well. Be safe. ABC will be with you all through this storm, and I'll send it back to you.
All right, we certainly will. Thank you, Judy. Now, you may want to grab a pen and piece of paper. We do have some important phone numbers for you to keep in your phone during this time of uncertainty over Hurricane Irma. They include the Sarasota and Manatee County Government Helpline and the State Transportation Hotline. If you live in Sarasota or Manatee County and have some concerns leading up to or during the storm, do not call 911 unless it is an emergency. Instead, for those living in Sarasota County, call 941-861-5000, and for Manatee County, call 941-742-5800. Again, for Sarasota County, 941-861-5000, Manatee County, 941-742-5800. And if you'd like to evacuate but do not have a way to get out of town safely, the state can also help you. The state has set up a transportation hotline. That number is 1-800-955-5504. So keep those in mind if you are looking for a number to get in contact with.
Absolutely. Obviously, the forecast is evolving. We'll be updating you throughout the afternoon on our website, and Bob will be in at 5.
All right. See you then.